is going on, guys, and welcome back to another Pokemon Wi-Fi battle. Today I have another underused match. This is using the same team as last video, and this is against Ivan, who has a pretty interesting looking Sandstorm team. I am able to tell it is going to be a Sandstorm team because of the Haydunn. He has a Stoutland and like a Mega Steelix probably, so this should be pretty interesting. Pretty good match here. So I decided to lead off with Donphan, just because I wanted to get my rocks up, and he ends up leading off with a shiny Primeape, who Primetime's going to go ahead and hit me with an Ice Punch straight off the bat, and seeing how much damage that did, I can basically tell that this thing is definitely going to be Choice Banded, sorry. So it's definitely a banded Primeape, judging by that Ice Punch damage. Raleigh did not take that very well at all, but I am able to get my free Stealth Rocks up. And at this point, we actually both switch. He decides to go into Martha, the Hungry Hippo, which is this Haydunn, and I decide to go into my Vaporeon, just kind of fearing another Ice Punch from the Primeape. But he brings out Martha. Martha's going to go ahead and kick up a Sandstorm, which is pretty annoying, and it's a pretty key for him to get that Sandstorm up in this match. But I decided to go into Vaporeon here, as this is a pretty solid matchup for me. I can hit this thing very hard with a Scald, and he is not going to be able to get up his Stealth Rocks right now unless he wants that thing to take a nice Scald to the face. So he decides to switch out. He goes into Dorian, which is the Alakazam, which is a very nice Pokemon to have on a Sandstorm team due to the ability to not be able to take like Stealth Rocks or Sandstorm damage. But I just go for the Roar, predicting to switch, just kind of stirring things up a little bit, get a little Stealth Rocks damage, you know, I don't know. But I just went for the Roar. It actually brings back out the freaking Haydunn, and I was like, okay, that's actually not too bad. Now I'm able to kind of scare this thing off again. I could have gone for the Roar a second time, but I kind of thought he may have predicted that. But he decides to now go into Jellicent with a big old mustache, and I just go ahead and throw a Scald at it. I wanted to play it safe at this point in the match. Don't want to be over predicting too much, but he makes a nice play. Kingsley is going to go ahead and absorb that Water, and yeah, so he doesn't really have much he could do to me other than, you know, like set up a Toxic or something along the lines of that. But unfortunately, I do not have much that I'm able to do to this freaking Jellicent either. So I'm kind of at a weird position here. I'm not really sure what to do, what to switch into, but I do decide to switch into Haxorus, because if he does want to go for the Toxic, that's completely fine. Haxorus is alright with that. I do have the Yachi Berry if he does want to have the Ice Beam, but he does end up going for the Toxic, and Haxorus doesn't really mind it a whole lot, honestly, because I am going to be able to start setting up some Dragon Dances. Like I said, if he does have the Ice Beam, I got that Yachi Berry, so I will be able to take attacks, and I will be able to demolish this Jellicent. The Jellicent is a pretty big threat against my team. This thing walls me out quite a bit, so it would be in my best interest to go ahead and get rid of this asshole here. So I just decided to go for a Dragon Dance, not sure what he's going to want to do. I just go for the dance. I'm like, I'm just going to dance up over here, kind of scout out what this Jellicent's going to want to do. He ends up going for a Recover, and that is perfect because I basically just got a free Dragon Dance, and at this point, Dragon Claw is going to be able to do a decent amount of damage depending on what kind of Jellicent this is. If he's physically defensive, that's going to be a bummer for me, but unfortunately for me though, I do take a lot of damage considering I'm taking that Sandstorm and that Poison, and it's just awful. So he now decides to switch into Goldix, the Gold Steelix, and he's going to take I just go for a Dragon Claw trying to hit the Jellicent, but the Steelix is going to take that very nicely, and at this point, I'm taking more freaking Sandstorm damage and more Poison damage, so Haxorus is not going to be able to sweep for too long here. But I am able to get an Earthquake off on this Steelix, as he's going to go for the Mega Evolution, turn into a beast, got some particles flying around him. This guy's got his own fucking gravity. That's how heavy this thing is, but I just go for an Earthquake. It should do a decent amount of damage, even though Steelix is a defensive beast. It does a decent amount, and he is able to go for the Dragon Tail, and unfortunately for me, that is going to be the end of the Haxorus there. I could have played a lot smarter with the Haxorus for sure, but I kind of blew it. Anyways, though, I get a free switch into the Vaporeon. He makes a very nice play, though. He goes straight for the Earthquake rather than switching, knowing he could have easily died from Scald. I just went for the Roar, predicting him to switch, and he actually did not. He hit me with an Earthquake, did a lot of damage, and now I'm in on this freaking Alakazam, who I did not really want to roar out in the first place. So what are you going to do? Vaporeon's looking not too hot over here, as the Alakazam's going to go for a Thunder Wave, which is not too bad. I mean, Vaporeon's not too fast at all, but unfortunately I am going to get fully paralyzed trying to hit that thing with a nice little Scald, but it does not happen. So the Paralyze is taking its toll. The Leftovers is going to put me well over half, so I'm feeling pretty confident that I'll be able to take an attack from the Alakazam, but the critical hit definitely does kill me, and Vaporeon is dead. So that crit was a bummer there, but what are you going to do? Hacks definitely happen. So At this point, I'm now going to bring out the Mega Sceptile. I go for the Mega Evolution, and I am going to be able to hit this thing with a Giga Drain, as the Alakazam is just going to go for a Psychic. See, this turn he is able to outspeed me. I knew he was going to outspeed me this turn, but I was aware that I was going to be able to get a Giga Drain off, get some health back, and since the speed boost from my Mega Evolution is now kicked in, I am able to outspeed this turn and kill it off with a Giga Drain. So that was some pretty good awareness of, you know, Alakazam does outspeed a regular Sceptile, but you don't get the speed boost until after the first turn you Mega Evolve. So once I got that speed up, I knew I was going to be able to outspeed it, so that's some pretty good stuff. Now he brings out the Primeape, and kind of seeing that he brought this thing in here kind of worried me. I was like, is this thing Choice Scarf? I was kind of rattled. If it was Choice Scarf, that would be scary because he'd be able to fuck me with an Ice Punch. But he is actually Choice Banded, as we'll see later on here. But he now goes for the U-turn. I'm guessing predicting a switch, which was a nice play, as I just decided to bring out Muck here, who doesn't take much from the U-turn, but he does get a switch into the Hippowdon, which is a real bummer, because I can't really do too much to this thing. He's going to get back up his Sandstorm, and that's kind of scary. The main thing I'm worried about is that damn Stoutland, who's going to have that Sand Rush and just be able to outspeed me, and just be a really, really scary thing. Honestly, Stoutland in the freaking sand is an absolute scary motherfucker. So now I'm just going to go ahead and switch back into Christmas here, as I know he's probably going to be able to hit me with like EQ or something along the lines of that, but he does end up going for the Stealth Rocks, which kind of sucks because now I'm going to, you know, come in and take some damage and all that kind of stuff. But Sceptile is going to go for a Giga Drain as he brings in the Steelix, and after the Stealth Rocks damage, Giga Drain, or at least two of them, would have for sure killed it, but this Giga Drain is definitely going to kill the Steelix, so that is a very hefty defensive wall I don't have to worry about much longer, so that is cool, although the Steelix kind of, you know, did its job. So see you later, Goldix. You can go ahead and rest in hell. So I'm getting buffeted by the Sandstorm. I don't know. As I take some damage from that. Now he's going to bring in this motherfucker, who is the Stoutland, which is very fast in sand. And that thing can be an absolute threat. So he goes for a nice play. He goes for the Pursuit as I switch. It does not kill me, thankfully, but it does a lot of damage to the point where the Stealth Rocks are going to fuck me. But I decided to switch into Raleigh just because I didn't know what this thing was going to go for, and I could maybe take some attacks from this thing. Honestly, I don't know. But Raleigh comes in here and gets a little bit of leftovers health, and looking pretty solid, as he's going to go ahead and save the Stoutland for later, which is a bummer because now he brings in the asshole Jellicent, who is going to take a little bit of health from the freaking Stealth Rocks, but he predicts the Rapid Spin. I'm trying to get rid of those Stealth Rocks because if I can manage to get rid of those rocks, I can bring in Sceptile later, because if I didn't get those rocks out of the way, I would definitely die to this incoming Stealth Rock damage. But my main objective at this point is to get rid of those motherfucking Stealth Rocks, because I do need Sceptile to win this match. If I can get a matchup against the Stoutland when there's no Sandstorm, with the Sceptile, I would be able to maybe pull off a win here, but now I just decided to bring in Sup here, as he's going to go for a Scald. Thankfully does not get the burn on the first turn, and I mean, I'm guessing I'm pretty due for it, though. He can just keep on Scalding, and eventually he's going to get that freaking burn, because that's just what happens with Scald. Scald is just a real pain in the ass of a move here, especially against Muck, because I need all the physical attack I can get. So he goes for a Scald one more time. I'm crossing my fingers for no burn, and he gets the burn, and I was like, well, no one ever gets 2 Scalds in a row without a burn. That's just the rules of Pokemon. But I just go for a Poison Jab, intentionally trying to get the poison, and I actually do get it. And I was like, okay, thanks. Thank you, Muck. Doing your job, poisoning shits. I guess that's pretty cool. But getting hurt by the Sandstorm, and then that burn damage is going to knock Sup to pretty low freaking health here, which is quite unfortunate. I do get that Black Sludge. It's going to put me up a little bit. But then that freaking Poison's gonna knock down this Jellicent, and Sandstorm really slows down matches, honestly, just freaking an extra thing. It just really feels like it makes battles go by a lot slower. I don't know what it is. But anyways, now I decide to switch into 2 Spoons on the incoming Scald. I know I can take it with, like, I can live it with over half health, and if he does get the burn, it doesn't matter because I don't take damage from that noise or Stealth Rocks, which makes Alakazam a really cool revenge killer, honestly. Put a Focus Sash on this thing, and it'll last, like, forever, because you don't take that Stealth Rocks damage. The freaking Focus Sash will stay there for a pretty good while. So I decided to now go for a Shadow Ball, as it's not going to end up killing this motherfucker, as he gets the special defense drop, which really doesn't matter, and he's just going to go for one more Scald, which is not going to kill 2 Spoons, obviously, because I'm freaking chilling over here with my spoons in my sweet pink vest, looking like a boss, as the Jellicent is going to be able to die from this next Shadow Ball, actually I just go for a Psychic. I just go for the Psychic sometimes. I don't know. He would die to anything, so it didn't really matter what I clicked. But the Jellicent is dead, and I'm slowly getting these walls out of the way. The main thing I'm afraid of is that damn Stoutland, and it's annoying because he does still have the Hippowdon left, who is able to come back and get up more Sandstorm for freaking ever. And that Stoutland, as long as the Sandstorm's up, it's going to be able to outspeed everything on my team. So honestly, I'm trying to freaking make it so I don't have any more Sandstorm on the freaking battle. But honestly, that's a really difficult task to do. I now decide to switch in Muck to basically just get some Death Fodder. I can get a free switch into Donphan here. And since I did take care of that Jellicent, the Jellicent is gone. He does not have a Ghost type. And I am free to go for a Rapid Spin. Meaning, once I go for the Rapid Spin, it's going to get rid of the Stealth Rocks. And then I can bring back in my Sceptile eventually. So he brings in the Primeape, who is going to come in on the old Rapid Spin here, which is nice. Main objective, get the Stealth Rocks out of the way, and that has happened, and I'm like, hell yeah, I might have a chance here if this Sandstorm does not stay up long enough for that Stoutland to be able to outspeed my Sceptile. But anyways, I know this Primetime can't actually kill me with one more Ice Punch, so he does go for the Ice Punch, and I live it, which is pretty nice, and I'm able to go for a knockoff. I kind of just went for it just in case this thing was scarfed. Honestly, it didn't really matter what I went for. I go for the knockoff, and next it gets a critical hit, and he has Anger Point, which is going to maximize his attack. So I knock off his Choice Band, and this thing is at maximum attack right now, which really, honestly, is pretty cool. If a freaking Primeape can live a critical hit, you deserve the Anger Point, I guess. But now he's just going to go for the Close Combat, which is going to kill my Donphan. But at this point, I know he can't outspeed my Sceptile, and my Sceptile is pretty much my only chance here. So he's going to get hurt by the Sandstorm. He does not die to it, which is fine, honestly. So I'm able to bring out Christmas. I'm like, it is motherfucking Christmas time again, bitches. And I'm able to go for a Giga Drain, which is going to kill the Primeape. And at this point, I am going to be able to live another Sandstorm damage, of course. But unfortunately for me, the freaking Sandstorm is going to stay up for a little bit too long. And he is able to bring in the Stoutland. With his ability, he is definitely going to be able to outspeed me, even with Sceptile's extremely insane speed stat. But here, I just decided to go into 2 spoons. I'm like, you know, maybe the Sandstorm will end next turn. If I could get real lucky, that'd be cool. I just let him kill the Alakazam, so I'm able to bring in Sceptile again. But unfortunately, the Sandstorm lasts for one more turn. I think this was the last turn that the Sandstorm was going to stay up, which is really a bummer because he is now able to outspeed me, and Christmas is dead. So that was a really good match. That Sandstorm literally lasted 1 turn too long. Had that Sandstorm not lasted that long, I maybe would have been able to pull off the win. But overall, that was a really good match. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, you can click that thumbs up button, and I will love you forever. But anyways, guys, I will see you later. Peace.